Breaking update. In an unprecedented twist, 5 powerful Asian nations have begun mass deportations of American citizens in 2025. And the reasons will leave you stunned. If you're an American living, working, or just traveling in Asia, you need to see this now. Welcome back to Voyage Pulse, the only place where we peel back the headlines and show you what's really happening around the world. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And don't just watch the news, understand it. In just the first 4 months of 2025, over 37,000 American citizens have been removed or denied re-entry from 5 Asian countries that were once major U.S. travel and business hubs. From diplomatic fallout to economic revenge, this isn't just politics, it's a new global message: play fair or get out. Let's dive into the who, the why, and the shocking implications for Americans worldwide. First up, the Philippines. Once considered one of America's strongest allies in Southeast Asia, this relationship is now cracking. In February 2025, the Filipino government revoked over 8,000 work and business visas belonging to U.S. citizens. Filipino President Marcos Jr., VO. We are not anyone's pawn. We demand mutual respect in all diplomatic and economic dealings. The move followed leaked documents showing aggressive U.S. lobbying to block Chinese investment in Filipino infrastructure. American expats working in logistics, IT, and even teaching English were abruptly told leave within 30 days, or faced detention. Even dual citizens were affected. The chaos has left families split and local businesses in turmoil. Next, Thailand. In April 2025, the Thai Ministry of Interior launched Operation Sovereign Borders, targeting illegal employment, overstayed visas, and surprise, surprise, over 11,000 Americans were deported. Thai Immigration Chief, VO. We're not anti-American, we're anti-exploitation. But here's the twist. The crackdown came days after the U.S. Treasury Department added Thailand to its watch list over unfair currency practices. Coincidence? The internet doesn't think so. Number 3 is going to shock you. South Korea, long seen as America's closest military partner in Asia, suddenly issued mass cancellations of U.S. teaching and IT contracts in March 2025. The official reason? A growing anti-American sentiment among youth and a new policy to prioritize domestic talent. But the real reason might be tied to a bitter trade dispute over semiconductor exports. One former English teacher shared, "We were told we had 2 weeks to get out or face fines. No warning, nothing. Tourists haven't been spared either. U.S. travelers with prior military backgrounds or extended stays have reported being interrogated, turned away, or red flagged." In Malaysia, the message couldn't be clearer. No freeloaders, no interference. The government recently deported 5,000 U.S. citizens for what it called visa fraud and political meddling. American NGOs and Christian missionary groups were the first targets, accused of violating Malaysia's religious and cultural norms. Then came the digital workers, blamed for inflating local rent prices and exploiting visa loopholes. The Malaysian Minister of Home Affairs stated, "We welcome tourists. But we won't tolerate disrespect or shadow economies." Multiple American-run cafes, co-working hubs, and NGOs were shut down overnight. Several digital nomads shared they were deported without even being allowed to collect their belongings. India's case is perhaps the most dramatic and politically loaded. In May 2025, India revoked more than 9,000 business and diplomatic visas held by U.S. citizens. Why? A retaliatory move after the U.S. imposed new tariffs on Indian pharmaceuticals and steel. The Indian Prime Minister declared, "We are not a second-class nation. We expect reciprocity, not bullying." The Indian public largely backed the move, with widespread nationalist rallies celebrating the mass deportations. A few American tech giants even saw their Indian offices raided over tax violations. 5 nations, thousands of Americans deported, and this is just the beginning. What does it mean for you, the traveler, student, or expat? The 2025 wave of deportations is a wake-up call. The era of unquestioned U.S. travel privilege is over. Back home, the backlash is growing. Lawmakers are demanding answers, influencers are calling for boycotts, and travelers, they're stuck in limbo. If our citizens aren't safe abroad, we must act. But critics argue that this is simply karma. Years of soft power dominance, economic pressure, and entitlement catching up. As one viral tweet put it, now Americans know what it feels like. So where does this all lead? Will more countries follow suit? Or is this a passing protest? One thing's for sure, being an American abroad in 2025 just got a lot more complicated. Comment below. Have you ever faced hostility while traveling as an American? Do you think these countries are justified? Or taking things too far? Now let's turn our attention to Japan. Recently, Japan has joined the growing list of countries enforcing stricter deportation policies for American expatriates. The catalyst? A combination of economic strain, political shifts, and a surge in nationalistic sentiment. Significant events leading to this crackdown include the controversial Rebalance Act, aimed at prioritizing local employment and reducing foreign labor dependency. This act, coupled with rising public pressure to address perceived cultural encroachments, has made life increasingly difficult for Americans residing in Japan. The impact on the American expatriate community has been profound. Many have reported sudden job losses, abrupt visa cancellations, and a growing sense of unease. Social media is rife with stories of families being uprooted, businesses shuttering, and an overall climate of uncertainty. As Japan tightens its borders, the message is clear. The era of unfettered American mobility is facing unprecedented challenges. But what does this mean for future international relations and the global economy? Only time will tell. Now, back to our main topic. As we pivot to Vietnam, the situation takes on a unique flavor. Vietnam has recently intensified its deportation policies, aimed squarely at American expatriates. The Vietnamese government has cited a mix of economic protectionism and national security concerns as the primary drivers behind this move. Notable incidents include the abrupt closure of several businesses owned by American nationals, often without prior warning. These closures have left many expatriates scrambling for legal recourse and financial stability. The government has also tightened visa regulations, making it increasingly difficult for Americans to renew their stay or even enter the country. Public reaction within Vietnam has been mixed. While some locals support the government's stance, citing the need to prioritize Vietnamese citizens in the job market, others have expressed sympathy for the expatriates, recognizing the contributions they have made to the local economy and culture. Social media platforms are ablaze with debates, with hashtags like Vietnam deportations and expat lives matter trending frequently. For the American expatriates affected, the emotional and financial toll has been substantial. Stories of sudden job losses, forced relocations, and disrupted lives are becoming all too common. The broader implications for Vietnam's international relations and its reputation as a welcoming destination for foreigners are yet to be fully realized. And with that, we turn our attention to the broader picture once again. Shifting our focus to Indonesia, we uncover another layer in the complex tapestry of global deportations. Indonesia has seen a notable rise in deportations, particularly targeting American expatriates. The Indonesian government has cited a combination of legal and social factors driving this surge. Legally, Indonesia has implemented stricter immigration laws, emphasizing the need for foreigners to adhere strictly to visa regulations. This includes rigorous checks on work permits and the legal status of expatriates. Instances of minor visa infractions have led to swift deportations, leaving many Americans in precarious situations. Socially, there's a growing sentiment of nationalism. Many Indonesians feel that job opportunities should be reserved for locals, especially in a challenging economic climate. This sentiment has been echoed in the media and public discourse, putting additional pressure on the government to act. The implications for American expatriates in Indonesia are profound. Many have found their lives abruptly disrupted, facing sudden job losses and forced relocations. The financial and emotional strain is immense, as families are torn apart and careers are left in limbo. Moreover, the broader implications for Indonesia's relationship with the United States and its reputation as a friendly destination for expatriates are significant. Will this trend continue, or will there be a shift in policy? Only time will tell. As we wrap up this segment, the question remains, what does the future hold for expatriates in Indonesia and beyond? Turning our attention to Cambodia, we encounter a country experiencing a significant increase in deportations. The Cambodian government has ramped up its efforts to expel foreign nationals, citing reasons that range from national security to economic protectionism. In recent years, Cambodia has tightened its immigration policies, mirroring a global trend of stricter border controls. New regulations have been introduced, requiring foreigners to adhere to more stringent visa requirements and frequent documentation checks. These measures have led to a substantial number of deportations, affecting many expatriates who had previously considered Cambodia a stable home. The Cambodian government's stance is rooted in a desire to protect local jobs and resources. With the country's economy facing various challenges, there is a growing sentiment that opportunities should be prioritized for Cambodian citizens. This has been a significant factor in the deportation of many expatriates, particularly those working in sectors where locals feel they are being unfairly displaced. For those deported, the consequences are severe. Many find themselves suddenly uprooted, facing the loss of their livelihoods and the daunting task of starting over in a new country. The emotional toll is considerable, with families being separated and individuals facing uncertain futures. Moreover, the broader implications for Cambodia's international relations are noteworthy. The surge in deportations has affected the country's image as a welcoming destination for expatriates and investors. This shift could have long-term repercussions for Cambodia's economy and its standing on the global stage. As we delve deeper into the situation, it's clear that the wave of deportations in Cambodia is part of a larger, complex narrative of global migration and national priorities. How will this trend evolve, and what will be the long-term impact on Cambodia and its foreign residents? Only time will reveal the answers. And now, as we move forward, let's reflect on the broader implications of these deportations and what they mean for the future of global migration. Shifting our focus to Laos, we find a country where the political and economic landscape has dramatically influenced its stance on deportations. In recent years, the Laotian government has implemented stringent immigration policies, leading to a notable increase in the expulsion of foreign nationals. This move is seen as part of a broader strategy to assert greater control over its borders and resources. The political context in Laos is complex, with the government seeking to fortify its sovereignty and maintain internal stability. Economic factors play a significant role as well, with Laos facing numerous challenges including a high poverty rate and limited job opportunities for its citizens. These factors have driven the government to prioritize local employment and economic resources, often at the expense of foreign workers. For those who have been deported, the experience is harrowing. Many expatriates, who once viewed Laos as a place of opportunity, now find themselves abruptly uprooted. Consider the story of John, a teacher from Australia, who had been living in Laos for 5 years. He was suddenly deported without prior notice, leaving behind his home, friends, and students. The emotional and financial toll on individuals like John is profound, with many facing the daunting task of rebuilding their lives elsewhere. The broader impact on the community is also significant. The surge in deportations has strained social cohesion and created an atmosphere of uncertainty among remaining expatriates. Local businesses that relied on foreign expertise and investment are feeling the pinch, potentially stunting economic growth. Moreover, the international perception of Laos is shifting. Once seen as a welcoming destination for expatriates and investors, the recent wave of deportations may deter future foreign engagement, affecting the country's long-term economic prospects. As we delve deeper into the situation in Laos, it becomes clear that the issue of deportations is intertwined with broader themes of national security, economic protectionism, and global migration patterns. The future remains uncertain, and the true impact on Laos and its foreign residents will unfold in the years to come. Now, let's explore how these deportations fit into the larger narrative of global migration and national priorities. Shifting our focus to Myanmar, we uncover a nation grappling with internal turmoil and external pressures, leading to a surge in deportations. The Myanmar government has recently intensified its immigration policies, resulting in the expulsion of numerous foreign nationals, including a significant number of American expatriates. The reasons behind these actions are multifaceted. Politically, Myanmar is undergoing a period of instability, with the military coup in 2021 having a profound impact on the country's governance. This upheaval has led to a tightening of control over foreign presence, as the government seeks to consolidate its power and eliminate perceived threats. Economically, Myanmar is facing severe challenges, including international sanctions and a struggling economy. The government views the deportation of foreign nationals as a means to prioritize local employment and economic resources amid these hardships. For American expatriates, the consequences have been dire. Many who once considered Myanmar a second home now find themselves abruptly forced to leave. Take for instance, Sarah, an aid worker who had dedicated years to humanitarian efforts in Myanmar. She was suddenly deported, leaving behind her mission, colleagues, and the communities she served. The emotional and professional toll on individuals like Sarah is immense, as they navigate the uncertainty of starting anew in unfamiliar territories. The broader impact on the expatriate community and local businesses is significant. The abrupt departure of foreign expertise has created gaps in various sectors, including education, healthcare, and development projects. This vacuum is likely to impede progress and exacerbate existing challenges in Myanmar. Additionally, the international perception of Myanmar is shifting. Once seen as a burgeoning destination for expatriates and investors, the recent wave of deportations may deter future foreign engagement, further isolating the country on the global stage. Controversies have also emerged, with accusations of human rights violations and arbitrary detentions. Reports of mistreatment and lack of due process in the deportation proceedings have drawn international condemnation, adding to the already tense geopolitical climate surrounding Myanmar. As we analyze the situation in Myanmar, it becomes evident that these deportations are not merely administrative actions, but are deeply entwined with broader issues of national security, economic survival, and international relations. The future remains uncertain, and the true impact on Myanmar and its foreign residents will continue to unfold in the coming years. Now let's explore how these deportations fit into the larger narrative of global migration and national priorities. Shifting our focus to Singapore, a country known for its strict laws and efficient governance, we delve into the recent wave of deportations that have raised eyebrows globally. Singapore's legal framework is stringent, with clear regulations regarding immigration and employment. However, recent enforcement actions have led to the deportation of numerous expatriates, including a noticeable number of Western nationals. The reasons behind these deportations are multifaceted. On one hand, Singapore's government emphasizes the importance of maintaining social order and economic stability. The tightening of immigration policies is seen as a measure to prioritize local employment and address concerns about foreign workers taking jobs from Singaporean citizens. On the other hand, the geopolitical landscape plays a significant role. As global tensions rise, Singapore's policies reflect a cautious approach to foreign influence and national security. For those affected, the experience is often sudden and jarring. Take for instance John, a software engineer from the United States who had been working in Singapore for several years. Despite his contributions to the tech industry, he found himself facing deportation due to changes in visa regulations. The emotional and professional upheaval for individuals like John is significant, as they are forced to leave behind their lives, careers, and communities in Singapore. The broader implications for international relations are profound. Singapore has long been a hub for expatriates and international businesses, but the recent deportations may alter this dynamic. Companies may reconsider their investment strategies, and expatriates might think twice before relocating to Singapore. This shift could impact Singapore's position as a global business center and its relationships with other countries. Furthermore, the expatriate community in Singapore is feeling the strain. The sense of uncertainty and instability is palpable, as many wonder if they might be next. The social fabric of this diverse community is being tested, and the long-term effects on Singapore's multicultural identity are yet to be seen. As we analyze the situation in Singapore, it becomes clear that these deportations are not just about enforcing laws, but are intertwined with broader issues of national policy, economic strategy, and international relations. The future remains uncertain, and the true impact on Singapore and its expatriate residents will continue to unfold in the coming years. Now, let's explore how these deportations fit into the larger narrative of global migration and national priorities. Moving on to Brunei, a nation known for its wealth and strict Sharia-based legal system, we examine the recent deportations that have stirred discussions both locally and internationally. Brunei's government has always maintained a firm stance on immigration, with policies that reflect its conservative values and emphasis on national security. The recent wave of deportations in Brunei has predominantly affected American residents, who have found themselves unexpectedly targeted by stricter enforcement measures. One notable incident involved an American teacher, Emily, who had been living in Brunei for over a decade. Despite her long-term contribution to the local education system, she was deported following an abrupt change in visa regulations. For Emily, and many like her, the deportation was not just a legal action but a deeply personal upheaval, as they were forced to leave behind their homes, careers, and friends. Public reactions to these deportations have been mixed. While some Bruneians support the government's decision, viewing it as a necessary step to protect national interests and cultural integrity, others have expressed concern over the potential impact on Brunei's international reputation and its expatriate community. The local business sector is particularly worried, as the deportations could deter foreign investment and skilled professionals from considering Brunei as a viable destination. On the global stage, these deportations have added to the growing narrative of tightening immigration policies and rising nationalism. For the American residents affected, the experience has been a stark reminder of the precarious nature of expatriate life in a rapidly changing world. As we delve deeper into the implications of Brunei's deportations, it becomes evident that these actions are not isolated incidents but part of a broader trend of nations reassessing their immigration strategies in response to global dynamics. The long-term effects on Brunei's economy, international relations, and social fabric remain to be seen. Now, let's explore how these deportations fit into the larger narrative of global migration and national priorities. Now, let's turn our attention to East Timor, a country still navigating the complex waters of post-independence governance and national identity. Recently, East Timor has seen a significant uptick in deportations, driven by a combination of social and political factors that are reshaping the nation's approach to immigration. East Timor, or Timor-Leste, has long been a haven for expatriates, including a growing number of American residents who have contributed to its burgeoning development. However, the government has recently intensified its efforts to regulate foreign presence, citing concerns over national security and economic stability. One of the primary social factors fueling these deportations is the rising sentiment of nationalism among Timorese citizens. After decades of foreign influence and occupation, there is a strong desire to reclaim and preserve the nation's cultural and economic sovereignty. This sentiment has translated into stricter immigration policies and a more vigilant approach to residency permits. Politically, East Timor's leadership is under pressure to demonstrate its commitment to national interests. In response, the government has implemented a series of measures aimed at reducing foreign dependency and promoting local employment. These policies have led to the deportation of several American residents, many of whom have lived in the country for years, and have integrated deeply into the local community. For the American expatriates affected, these deportations are not just bureaucratic hurdles, but profound disruptions to their lives. Take the example of John, a humanitarian worker who has been in East Timor since the early 2000s. Despite his significant contributions to local healthcare, John was recently deported due to changes in visa regulations. This abrupt shift has left him and many others grappling with the loss of their homes and communities. The implications of these deportations extend beyond the individuals directly affected. There is growing concern that East Timor's increasingly stringent immigration policies could deter foreign investment and expertise, potentially stalling the country's development. Additionally, the deportations have sparked debates about human rights and the treatment of expatriates, both within East Timor and on the international stage. As we examine the broader impact of East Timor's deportations, it becomes clear that these actions are part of a global trend of nations reassessing their immigration strategies. The long-term effects on East Timor's economic growth, international relations, and social cohesion remain uncertain. However, one thing is clear: the landscape of global migration is changing, and countries like East Timor are at the forefront of this transformation. As we continue to explore the complexities of global deportations, it is essential to consider the diverse factors driving these changes and their far-reaching consequences. Now let's delve into the larger narrative of global migration and national priorities. Now let's turn our attention to Mongolia, a country renowned for its vast landscapes and rich cultural heritage. Recently, Mongolia has seen a noticeable surge in deportations, driven by a combination of economic, social, and political factors. Mongolia has traditionally been a welcoming nation for foreign workers and expatriates, particularly those contributing to its mining industry and burgeoning tourism sector. However, the government has recently intensified its efforts to regulate foreign presence, citing concerns over illegal immigration and economic stability. One of the primary drivers behind these deportations is the government's focus on protecting local jobs. With a growing population and increasing unemployment rates, there has been mounting pressure to prioritize Mongolian citizens in the job market. This has led to stricter immigration policies and more rigorous enforcement of residency permits. Socially, there is a rising sentiment of nationalism among Mongolian citizens. After years of foreign investment and influence, there is a strong desire to reclaim the nation's economic sovereignty and cultural identity. This has translated into a more vigilant approach to immigration and residency regulations. For the expatriates affected, these deportations are not just bureaucratic hurdles but significant disruptions to their lives. Take the example of Sarah, an English teacher who has been in Mongolia for over a decade. Despite her contributions to local education, Sarah was recently deported due to changes in visa regulations. This abrupt shift has left her and many others grappling with the loss of their homes and communities. The implications of these deportations extend beyond the individuals directly affected. There is growing concern that Mongolia's increasingly stringent immigration policies could deter foreign investment and expertise, potentially stalling the country's development. Additionally, the deportations have sparked debates about human rights and the treatment of expatriates, both within Mongolia and on the international stage. As we examine the broader impact of Mongolia's deportations, it becomes clear that these actions are part of a global trend of nations reassessing their immigration strategies. The long-term effects on Mongolia's economic growth, international relations, and social cohesion remain uncertain. However, one thing is clear: the landscape of global migration is changing, and countries like Mongolia are at the forefront of this transformation. As we continue to explore the complexities of global deportations, it is essential to consider the diverse factors driving these changes and their far-reaching consequences. Now let's move on to the final chapter in our exploration. This isn't just about deportations, it's about global power shifts, rising nationalism, and the end of Western travel dominance. The question is, are you ready for this new world order? Hit that subscribe button because the next report might involve you. And trust us, the next country planning deportations will shock you.